What's good, YouTube? It's your boy K Flex, and I'm back here with yet another video. Holy shout out to people who like this video before they even heard the sentence. You know, I got to get that out the way early just so I can get to actually what the video matters. Ladies and gentlemen, Tua is actually injured again. And it is another concussion. And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a very deep video. But real quick, let me just get into a couple of thoughts on it. First and foremost, you guys, well, maybe you guys don't know my opinion on Tua because I've been kind of saving it for, like, you know, the end of the season. But in short, I don't think that Tua's, well, I know for a fact Tua's not Herbert, he's not Burrow, he's not Mahomes, he's not Allen, he's not some spectacular quarterback. We have to, like, get that out of our minds, to be honest with you. He's not trash to me, and I think if both sides could kind of see that Tua's not trash, but he's also not like the left hand of God per se, or this man, and you know, if people could get it through their minds that he's not some type of elite quarterback, but he also isn't trash, I feel like we all could kind of meet in the middle and be like, you know what, he's pretty decent. Which I think he is. I think he's pretty decent. Now, can you win with a pretty decent quarterback? Yes, you can. I think that there are quarterbacks that have made it to the Super Bowl that were pretty decent. I think Goff is pretty decent. I think Stafford is pretty decent. I mean, he's pretty good, but pretty decent. Garoppolo, pretty decent. When Kaepernick made it, he was pretty decent. Well, he's pretty good. He was pretty good. But in short, like, you can make it to a Super Bowl if you're pretty decent. Like, you don't have to be the most unstoppable force. Obviously it's easier, but it's very hard to get like a Mahomes or, you know, and Tua's always had the expectation because of the draft class that he got drafted with. So he's always kind of had it very difficult because Burrow and Herbert, two quarterbacks who are looking really amazing, was drafted with him. So he always had like expectations. But I always say, like, I think he's just pretty decent, and it's kind of hard for us to admit that, but he's only pretty decent. Now, I say that because a lot of people are going to think, well, what I say in this video is because I dislike him and I'm being disingenuous and I'm like making excuses to why I really just want to get another quarterback. Truth be told, I even said last video, there are quarterbacks worse than Tua out there. Plenty of quarterbacks worse than Tua out there. Tua is not top 10 in my opinion. He's not like a top quarterback, but there's quarterbacks that are worse. So I wouldn't just say just replace Tua with any old quarterback. I wouldn't say go get Skylar Thompson and start him over Tua. I wouldn't say go get Jordan Love. I wouldn't say go, you know, the direction of a Baker Mayfield. I wouldn't just say start any quarterback. I have enough respect for Tua to be like, you know, he's not the worst. But a lot of people, like, they think if I don't call him, you know, up there with Herbert, I'm calling him trash. And if I call him, if I say, he's trash, they think, or if I say, he's down there with Jimmy G, they think I'm calling him fucking Baker Mayfield. When in reality, I'm just saying, like, he's like a middle of the road quarterback. And I'm not saying get rid of him. Up until today, ladies and gentlemen, Tua is back into concussion protocols. Now, he doesn't 100% have a concussion. This came out today after the game yesterday. Last night, Tua said he had some symptoms of a concussion, went to the doctor, and is now in concussion protocol. And there is a hit that he took, and I will actually show you guys right now. All right, so this is the hit that he took right here in the game, where people are saying that he sustained the concussion. And as you guys can see, his head snapped back. So you're going to just see right now, his head did snap back. Now, if you just kind of look at that, and you'll kind of notice that that was the end of the second quarter. The second half was awful. That's when he threw out the pick. So a lot of people are saying, well, look, he was playing the second half with a concussion. People were saying that even before this news came out. I was kind of thinking it was an excuse, and then it comes out, hey, Tua actually is in the protocol. So now it's like, wow, maybe he did have a concussion in the second half and was still playing. They have NFL spotters and things of that nature for to stop things like this, but obviously it didn't. And the way I'm looking at it, like to tell you guys the honest truth, and this is me, like, besides the point of football, I think Tua needs to seriously consider retiring. And I don't know how I mean, you have to consider retiring. I think Miami Dolphins need to consider moving on. And I think this was actually worse news than the 3 picks yesterday, just because of what it means. Let's break this down from, you know, from the beginning. Okay, let's break this down from different areas so you guys understand what this means. This isn't personal to Tua. This is just the reality of football. The number one thing threatening the NFL right now, like at the NFL's existence as a corporation, as a sport, American football, the number one thing threatening it is concussions. Okay, There's a movie with Will Smith in it, Concussion, okay? Concussions are threatening the duration of the sport. Like, we don't know how long we'll have the NFL because concussions are just like a big deal, and the NFL has made a lot of moves to do things to kind of try to, you know, eliminate concussions. And now it's to the point where, you know, they got spotters. It's to a point where Teddy Bridgewater, the other game, had to come out because the spotters thought he had a concussion. It's to the point where, you know, the helmets are made differently. They banning all the hits. They're making it impossible to touch these quarterbacks. They're doing everything they can to save the product because concussions are, you know, it's a risk that concussions are going to ruin the sport. Now, you get to a guy like Tua, and it already looked bad because on a national televised game on Thursday Night Football, he ended up having a concussion. It wasn't a regular concussion or a concussion like he just had this up last week. It was one where his fingers froze, his like body, he was stuck. He was temporarily paralyzed. And when you see that, it's like oh my goodness. And then you go back to the week before where you saw him stumble a little bit. So you say, even though that was never diagnosed a concussion, they say that was a concussion as well. So when you stack those two, because they're counting it as two, whether or not us as fans are only counting the one that was actually diagnosed against the Bengals, they're counting the Bills one too. They counted that against us. So when you look at that concussion where he stumbles, this concussion, and then you look at the one that he just suffered against the Packers where he gets tackled by his legs. Head just snaps back. I don't understand how he falls down. I don't really understand what is gravity? I don't understand that, like, how he falls down and just snaps his head back. Basically, I don't get how that happened like that, or the physics behind it. But that's what happened. His head snaps back. He gets a concussion. Those 3 picks, stays in the game. I want to blame the spotter, but if it was like, bro, nobody knew he had a concussion, bro. Head snap back all the time. If we're going to take out a quarterback every time a head snaps back, I promise you it's going to end up being worse than, like, you're gonna end up getting a lot of quarterbacks taken out that don't have concussions. So it's a regular lag tackle. His head snaps back, he gets a concussion. They could have taken him out, and we would have complained if they took him out because he looked just fine, right? So we would have complained either way it went. But the idea of it is, I honestly think Tua has to consider retiring because, and a lot of people think like, oh, you just think he's mid, so you're trying to act like you care about him. No, I actually do care about him as a human more than I care about him as a football player. I still think he's mid on a football field, and I still would love to have an elite quarterback over him, but I don't think, I'm not saying he's terrible. That's why I said at the beginning of the video what I said. But I would say he needs to retire just because, brother, you have 3 concussions. You're making the NFL, like, the NFL looking crazy right now. The Dolphins are looking crazy because now people are saying, oh, the Dolphins, they did it again. Even though it's not our fault. We have spotters. They didn't know either. Nobody knew he had a concussion. Tua went to the doctor himself and said he had, like, he was feeling these things and went to protocols. So I look at it like, bro, you're a millionaire. You have this family. Why don't you just retire? I mean, and I'm looking at, bro, it was a leg tackle. This wasn't a helmet to helmet. This wasn't anything incredible. This wasn't 2 people landing on him and snapping his head to the ground. This was a leg tackle, in which case they just tackled him regularly. He flicks the ball off, and he just like fucking falls into the ground and bashes his head against the fucking field and ends up injured. And I look at this and I'm just like, bro, it might just be time to retire. I mean, it's more important things than football, and then Tua wants to pretend that they care about him, and then they want to say, oh no, he can still play. But it's like, bro, if you actually do care about Tua's health, you'd probably say, yeah, he probably needs to retire. Or, because, I mean, he's going to take hits. It's going to happen. We're never going to be able to get a line where he never takes hits. And now we have to worry about this. And it makes the NFL just look bad. And it's going to be a situation where he ends up getting too injured, or even if, let's say, he has a good career, and even if we win a Super Bowl when he's 40, 50 years old and he can barely talk, and we're gonna be looking crazy, and they're gonna be looking at the Dolphins like, bro, Dolphins, why didn't y'all stop this? I mean, there is so much, and I love football as much as the next man, but there's so much fulfillment outside of a fucking game where you throw a fucking pigskin ball. And y'all gotta know, I take football serious, but there's so much other fulfillment, so much other joys of life. There's people starving in the streets. You know what I'm saying? That's the real problems with the world. There's people starving in the streets of America. Right? Do you think that Tua as a person, if he retires from football, is like losing everything? No, bro. Like, you're gonna be rich. You're gonna be in the top 1%. You have a family, and you have like everything going for you, and you can still become like the great. You have like a whole entire country behind you, or a whole entire state behind you. You can still go and just be like the greatest ever at whatever else you decide to do. So it's not like, I don't see it as like, oh, this is the end of Tua. But like when I say Tua needs to be retired, because I have kind of a little, I guess, a reputation as a Tua hater, people think I'm saying it as a hating way. I'm just saying it because football is not that serious, and you steady keep on getting injured, and you make us look bad at the Dolphins. You make yourself more injured. You make the NFL look crazy. Why not just retire, bro? Like, it's just like, and he's not even like that great to me. But like, again, that doesn't have anything to do with it. But he just probably should just retire. And I know I'll probably get hate for this video, and I don't give a. He probably needs to retire. If this is his third concussion, but if it's only his second, I see how you could look and be like, okay, well, it's not that serious. 3 in 1 season, bro. He's not gonna play again this season. Let's get that out the way. He's not playing again this season. People don't typically play when they have 3 concussions in a season. If you think he's going to play again, even if we make the postseason, even if we play in the postseason, I don't see him playing. The NFL probably will not let that happen, okay? Because he's one more serious concussion away from damn near the NFL getting shut the fuck. I honestly don't think the NFL is going to let it. I don't even think they're going to let Tua play again, which is why I wish this wasn't the case. But I don't think Tua's going to play again for the rest of the season at minimum. And I'm not really worried about him playing again the rest of the season. I don't really care if he ever plays again in his career. But I mean, if he does, he does. But I'm just saying, don't say like, oh, Flex, I care about Tua so much, you don't. Whenever you're like wanting to throw him back out there when he steady keep on getting head injury after head injury, and once you have one, it's easier to get the more other ones. Like, if you want to say the Dolphins ruined Tua's career, that's fine. If you want to say, oh, yeah, we should have took him out after the first concussion, now he's like doomed to get concussions, that's fine. Like, but how can we make it better now is to like not play him anymore. That's the facts. But whatever, because he ended up still playing. But like now at this point, are we supposed to like every time his head whips back, are we supposed to just take him out the game? Like, again, like this isn't like there's no way Tua's gonna be our quarterback. I mean, there's just no way we can have Tua. I'm just telling you the facts. Like every time his head goes back, we're supposed to be like, oh, he has to go out. He has to come out. Because like we don't know if he has a concussion. Because again, we could not tell he had a concussion last game. So he just has symptoms randomly pop up, and he's 20-something years old. He's like younger than me, bro. Why the fuck do you even want to keep playing football again? And that's just a decision at the end of the day. But in my opinion, just as the Dolphins are gonna look bad too. Okay, so it's not all on him, because let's say his decision is I want to keep playing. If he gets to the concussion, ends up fucking paralyzed, then that's what that looks bad on. My team that I root for, the logo, the Dolphins. That's what I mean. I was like, bro, why would you even keep doing this? Let another team get him. Let another team deal with it. If they want to put his life in danger, let them do it. But if he's had 3 concussions, and it's a strong if, because we don't know if that one versus the Bills was a concussion. But if he has had 3 concussions, brother, he has to go. I'm sorry, all right? Get in the comments and let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, go to 11 carries, bucket flexes. I'm out.